Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eye on Icon, where we bring you the weekly news of everything to do with Icon and now Snow. And with me, as always, David. How are you, man?
Hey, doing very well. I've had a spooky week. How's your week been in Australia?
Yeah, good, good. Halloween, when I was growing up over here, Halloween wasn't such a big deal, but recently it's become all the rage. In fact, some kids knocked on my door, and clowns seemed to be the thing. And my God, they were actually freaky. I ran to the kitchen and threw chocolate at them.
I'll tell you.
Leave me
I'll tell
alone.
you what. It's same here. It's never been a thing until like the last couple of years. And there's an event that goes around, and we get the trick or treating now in the streets. And last year, we dressed up and we participated in everything. And it's loads of fun. They come knocking your door. You go, ooh, you open up. Sometimes, you have a couple of teens just looking bored at you, like, where's the candy? Sometimes you open the door and it's like this little, like, 8-year-old in a dinosaur suit looking startled. And you're like, oh, whoops, made it too scary. This year, we didn't participate because it was on a Monday evening.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we didn't. It came up quick and didn't prepare anything. So I decided, okay, let's not. So we left the lights off, and, our door didn't seem too welcoming, but we could hear them going out and around outside. And then at some point, towards the latter part of the evening, the doorbell rings.
Oh.
And oh, now I don't want to open. And I'm like, no, we're not participating. So I just sit and whatever I'm doing. And the doorbell rings again. When I realize, wait a second, and I get up and I open up the door, and it's the postman delivering a package on Monday evening, and he's like looking all annoyed at me, like, I know you're in there. I've got a package for you. And I was this close to actually not going for the second time either, and just letting him buzz off again. So that's a lesson to everyone out there. Expect the unexpected on Halloween as well.
Good. Well, now that we've got Halloween out of the way, shall we jump into markets? Hopefully that kept people, they've stayed to listen to the news now. And David, as always, Iron Icon currently is proudly sponsored by the Monks. And who are the Monks exactly?
The DAO members of the Omm Finance open money market lending and borrowing platform on the Icon blockchain.
Indeed.
And select group of individuals.
Yep, they're dedicated community members doing everything they can to help market Omm to a wider audience and educate you on how to use Omm and all its features. So, amazing work the Monks do. Now let's dive into the news. And what do we have first? I think David, let's tackle the what's that saying? There's something in a room.
The elephant.
That's the elephant in the room. Yes. Let's tackle the elephant in the room, which is, I think, a few things. There are a few elephants everywhere in this room right now. But one of them is, okay, so we're on to Snow. Obviously, the chain launched. We had what I believe is a massive success story that the chain launched, one. And two, everyone started claiming their airdrops and their crowd loan. Remember, these are two separate things. Very successfully, the chain function, no hiccups. Yes, I do know that the website went down a few times randomly. This was nothing to do with the blockchain itself, but rather to do with some RPC issues. I don't know, David, if you want to elaborate on the RPC issues, but that's essentially what happened. And then, obviously, on D-Day, when we were expecting Everest Swap to launch and the staking vault, we got the announcement on D-Day an hour or so before that the staking vault for Snow is going to be delayed by another 2 weeks. Naturally, sentiment turned a bit bitter, sour, aggressive.
Acid.
Acid, yes, all these words. And rightfully so, David. Like, of course, everyone would be pissed. Like, I get it, totally. So,
definitely.
Now, so let's tackle that. So they dropped a bit of an article, and I've heard we've reached out, and the team, we've asked for an AMA. David, I think you've just woken up, so you may have seen that message. But looking to also hold a bit of an AMA with the team out on Twitter or some public forum, so everyone can actually hear the team talk through. I don't believe the team takes joy in making any delays. In this case, it seems like very much security was a large component of it. While everything was ready, I understand it. David, didn't you get a bit of a sneak peek at how it looks, the UI-wise as well?
Indeed, front-end UI, the way that it would work, to lock up your snow tokens, all ready and done. The like you said, the issue at hand is the team wanting to, apply more testing across a broader set of the contracts involved. There's a big piece on the security aspect of the Snow network and of this particular product, the Snow staking vault. So that's what the extra 2 weeks is. But yeah, there's incentive with this product to be early and to get in as soon as possible and lock up your Snow. Smartly done, because you're going to get a lot of people who want to lock up, like me. But at the same time, all these people are making an effort to, sit around and do so. And instead of getting presented with the UI, you get presented with an announcement saying, you can go off and come back in 2 weeks. So that's the opposite of what you want. Is literally the opposite of what you want. There's one worse. That would be an announcement saying, it's cancelled. It's never going to happen. But this is close to the worst you can at that moment get. So safety and security, it's all new. It's brand spanking new chain, brand spanking new products, and there is heightened importance of getting it right when you're, the second product and the third product, you know the drill. But the first one, it's harder.
Yeah, I think you're right. And look, again, so I'm trying to look at it holistically, and I am pissed. Yeah, I get it. I get the people being mad. I also understand, like, an exchange launches on a chain and there's literally nothing else but this massive supply of tokens being dished out to all the holders. And from a community member perspective, it's like, well, that was a terrible move. And it is. Like, let's be honest here. So I get that. I totally understand it. And you could see that the team, like, obviously Everest Swap was trying to go on launch date, which does not make any sense, but okay, cool. But obviously there was a bit of a united front, and the staking vault part of it didn't come through. Liquidity incentives weren't ready. Things like that just didn't happen. In theory, well, not in theory, really, what should have been happening is that initial launch phase should have been coordinated to the nth degree to make sure it was a bit successful. However, and this is where I kind of then go, okay, now if I were to switch from the other side going, the chain did launch, it is a parachain. The whole idea around the parachain ecosystem is Kusama has Snow, Polkadot has Ice. Now, it's a good thing. It's not a good thing that it's happened, but it's a good thing it's happening here in Snow so that the team has a bunch of learnings. Because right now for Snow, the dApps will deploy slowly, right? People will be still testing, working through. But essentially when Ice launches, and no, we don't know when that's going to launch, and I very much doubt it'll be Q1 because there'll be quite a lot of takeaways from Snow's launch. But essentially when Ice launches, you can expect, well, I would expect a lot of these to run a lot more smoothly, because similar dApps that have launched on Snow will actually deploy on Ice and be ready pretty much in an instant, because it's literally the same code. They may choose to update the branding so that there's a differentiation between the networks, but most of it should be the same. So I would hope that in I don't know if a staking vault is going to happen on ice, or I don't know that part, but what I mean is like from the incentive programs and all these things that we will start to see slowly spin up with snow. When the time comes with ice, all these things should fundamentally either be an evolved form or be the same, for that matter, to be running on ice, so the teams can move a lot more quickly. So I think when it comes to snow, a little bit of trial and error is to be expected. A few mishaps is to be expected with snow. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason Kusama exists. Like, it is where the narrative around this chain is for teams to be to move quick, to try things, to have failures and keep trying. So yes, I am pissed. And I know it may come across that the team is not competent or things like that. I don't believe that to be the case as much, because it's better to, in the staking vault, I'm just like David, I'm going to throw my stash in there. I'm not selling it for what chump change now. And you know, the chain hasn't been the team, the chain, people building, all our builders that exist on Icon, which is small, but a lot of them have a Solidity skill set, an EVM skill set. And we know that they're building things like with Supernode Racing and a few other projects that are in the pipeline. So expect these things to get released, which will create a bit of utility on the chain, etc. So it's just a start. Like, we're not down and out. Yeah, there's a few shitty missteps, sucks, but we're glad it's happening here and it doesn't happen on ice, which will be the main stage, really. Enough of the rant, David. I'll stop. Why don't you stop me, man?
I love it. It's on point, and I have nothing to add to it really. Maybe like there's a nuance. The snow parachain, it is a breeding ground for what will become ice, and you know, puzzle pieces are being put into place, and the way that you go about that. Sometimes it's purposely laid back, right? Sometimes you want to hold on to something and maybe deploy it a bit later. You want to see what's the necessary first step. Do we allocate resources to product A, or do we allocate resources to product B? Like, in which order should we be doing stuff? It's kind of like paying very close attention to this particular launch process, so that it can be meticulously planned out and structured when we go ice, because ice will be big, right? Because it's Polkadot, and you don't just walk into Polkadot, get a parachain, and become a useful asset there. Like, you need to have from A to Z, you need to have a good plan, a good order. And I think the learnings from the snow parachain are gonna help with that, and I think that's, like you explained, what the team is also knows what they know, and that's why they do what they do. I'm also annoyed. I would have liked to have my snow locked up in that staking vault by now. So waiting 2 weeks. You're like, look, I can wait 2 weeks. You know, it's not like it's not like my life savings were in snow and now I can't do anything and I'm tied up and I'm locked and everything's ruined.
And you know what it is though, David. I don't think I thought about this for a bit and I felt that way as well. But then I don't think it's people are upset about they're missing out on their yield, or I think it's the constant deadlines being set and being missed can irk. Well, I think we've gotten used to it, David. Like, it's kind of now we've gotten accustomed to it, but we shouldn't be, and people aren't, and that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. So look, a step back is better comms and better planning around it from the team and how they push out that information. But on the flip side, I want to remind everyone that, hey, each of you, it's your own view, but the whole point of snow is for this kind of crap to happen. Unfortunately, but that's the whole reason the way the ecosystem's designed is this very purpose. So the fact that it's happening here is a good thing. And these staking contracts, I don't know if you read through the update, but they actually look quite complicated. It's not just one contract and everyone dumps. Like, the contracts have fail safes and stuff, and they seem to be able to self-deployment. I was reading semi Skynet kind of stuff here. That's how it felt when I read it. So pretty cool, and yeah, let's leave it at that. David, but do you know what? In all of it, this is what upset me. Like, Everswap, the price went to crap, no staking contract, boo, boo, boo. And then I see a comment, Everswap powered by Icon Bridge. And obviously that was a takeaway that, hey, did you see that Icon Bridge was integrated into Everswap? Like, Icon Bridge that was talked about being integrating Snow not even a month ago. Literally last dev update, this became part of the roadmap, and Everswap launched with Icon Bridge. But, like, amazing. At the same time, it seemed like people were confused because I saw a few comments going, oh, great, another bridge. And I was like, no. Fair comment though, completely. So let's look at this. Like, you can see it's Everswap is over here, and it's powered by Icon Bridge. Now, I'll give a bit of context to everyone. What does this mean? And you're going to see a lot more of this happening. It is essentially Nexus. Like, if you're thinking Icon Bridge, you're probably thinking, yes, you use Nexus to facilitate transfers. And at the moment, if you go on Nexus, you won't even see Snow in there. So think of Nexus as just a front UI, okay? So yes, the bridge gets new chains connected to it, and then Nexus gets updated and these tokens added as part of the UI process for us to facilitate transfers. But Nexus isn't the only place this can happen. Because the code is open source, thanks to Cyrus and the integration teams building the Icon Bridge infrastructure, you can actually go into GitHub in the getting started doc. If you're a dev, literally, and I know this because I've passed this on to devs and I've seen them build use cases around it in a day. You can go through it and start integrating into the Icon Bridge infrastructure. So that's what Everswap have done. They have built their own front-end UI, but it is taking the tokens from Icon, in this case SICX and BNUSD and ICZ, and moving it back and forth from Snow and Icon back to Snow. And they're the same tokens. So now if someone comes along, like say Nexus gets integrated into Snow, it's still the same token. That doesn't create a new wrap token. It's the same token. It's just different UIs pushing through. As long as it's using the Icon Bridge infrastructure, it's giving you the same token in your wallet. So I kind of love this. This is great. Now, all of a sudden, you can have dApps just building their own front end, which is what Balance will be doing. And you've seen some previous screenshots of Balance doing it as well. So that's what Everswap is. When it says powered by Icon Bridge, this is what's actually happening.
Yeah, and it's the naming convention that gets people confused. Like, why, if Everest Bridge and Icon Bridge are actually two completely different concepts, they're different products, they're different things altogether, why do they share half of their names?
Yeah.
You know, that's just going to be confusing. Like, Icon Bridge is the infrastructure. It is the blockchain code that makes it all possible. And Everest Bridge it's basically, well, the website that lets you tap into the code. That's all. But this is like the way you just explained that the Snow integration for Icon Bridge got announced and basically shipped within a month. That is because it's an EVM compatible chain, and all the hard yards were done by the integrations team when they integrated the Binance Smart Chain EVM compatible chain. And we've been saying this, I've been seeing this on Twitter and around forever, that hey, once we literally talked about it last week. Once a certain type of blockchain is fully integrated, similar blockchains can be plugged in as easily as you would plug in a plug. Well, it's not that easy. It does take development resources, but time-wise, this literally shows that what they were saying is true. It is the truth, and now it has been shown. And no one is out there yelling, oh my God, it is true, and it's been done. And now what will happen, if the first integrations are the hardest, and then more will come. And this is the proof that it's actually happening. So I expect all the haters from the past 12 months to go back on Twitter and apologize. Apologize for misbehaving, apologize for dismissing these claims, because this is the proof. So the Snow integration, the EVM compatible integration, it got pushed out within a month on Icon Bridge, following Binance Smart Chain. It's there, it's working, it's functioning. The next question is, what's next?
Agree. And it's great. Look, I'm trying to think. It's good. The integration it's happened. it's thing. Yes. This is where I was. And again, one thing. Last point is the audits aren't done yet. They are ongoing. They should be close to finishing up. I'll say end of November, maybe sooner. Speculating. So this
Which
probably.
audits?
Sorry.
Which audits?
The Icon Bridge audits itself. So we talked about this in terms of, so from an audit perspective, a few things happen. One is the actual relay and stuff gets audited, and then the contracts for BTP Icon Bridge, not BTP, but the three contracts that exist, they get audited. So at the moment, we know that the Solidity side of the contracts are getting audited. So once they're done, the Solidity side of contracts that would be audited with the fixes and stuff done. Any new language contracts would need to go through their own audit. So something always to keep in mind that, like, for example, Near, that can take longer and will probably take longer because, again, you've got a product with Solidity contracts audited. Then you can push if there's Solidity integration, so Ethereum, Polygon, things like that. You could be a bit more aggressive because you have now audits in place and you've taken the steps to protect users and users' funds when using the bridge as well. The best steps you can take, right? But a near integration where a new contract gets involved, then you got to start weighing up, do we want audited and unaudited stuff, or do we wait for the audits there to finish before they actually come live? So again, I'm putting a bit of context there, but Icon Bridge, the Snow contracts are Solidity based and would be the same contracts that are getting audited or close to completion. So while this is currently still under audit and has not finished, it's something to keep in mind. And it's probably why we saw not as much liquidity getting migrated across the bridge, which obviously hasn't turned out well for the Snow price. But again, do you want the foundation or the teams, it's not the foundation, the teams playing it safe when it comes to users moving money across bridges, which we know have been a hot topic for hacks, etc., or thinking about, I don't know. I have many angles of this, but I feel you can't move a lot of funds across the bridge until the audits are done, and that will need to happen before we see a big push from Icon themselves about, hey, use our bridge, or let's migrate across this much money from here to here to these connected chains. Because even Balance, they migrated BTC, but the only reason they migrated the amount they did was the percentage of the DAO fund could cover it in an event of a hack. So yes, they have, but they have taken some precautions in order to back up what they've migrated via the bridge.
Mm-hmm. What's the price of the ICZ?
What is that?
0.0017. So the token launched at a valuation of 0.0025.
002. Oh, okay. So
it's come down from essentially it's come down from 25 to 17. So that's where it's floating around now. So that's a drop of 35% roughly since launch. So that's where it's sitting. Buy?
That's
a question. That's a question.
I don't know. I didn't. This is the first time I looked at the price. Like I didn't even bother.
It's not financial advice either. So
No.
maybe we wrap it up there.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, it's thing. the chain's just started. I don't know. It could go lower. Who knows? But my view, my perspective on the matter is, well, I'm not going to sell it for chump change. And something we're passionate about and doing everything we can to onboard builders, spread the news, etc., etc. It's not going to abandon hopes. Okay, next up. So we had now it's November. So Studio Mirai, they dropped their white paper. Were you able to attend the Twitter Space session, David?
I wasn't, no.
Neither was I. It's just odd hours, that's why. But if you haven't already, they have published it. It's on the Icon bulletin. That's where I got it from, not from their actual Discord. I went to the bulletin board. As I've said, it's a great place in the Icon Discord to go and get aggregated news of everything going on in the Icon ecosystem. So that's where I found it. And there's quite a lot of information here. I'm not going to go through it all, but kudos to the team. And look, if you didn't already know, it gives you a quick overview of the project, some of its what it's done. As I have said, if you haven't been in the Discord, you probably don't know what's going on with Studio Mirai, and the white paper is a great place to kind of get that. You read through everything and it clicks. Like I was going through, okay, the collection, the new one that's going to launch, how they've intertwined it to their tokenomics, what the badges are all about. If you have badges and didn't know what they were, it's in there. What I loved as well was I loved the dual token stuff they talk through. I know Katara has a lot of fun with his ANTIKOTO tokens and stuff like that, and there's a thorough explanation given in the white paper. And finally, they also talk through their Mirai DAO, which looks great. I actually really like the reputation points thing. I think that's a unique take, completely different. I'm keen to see how the experiment plays out. I'm always, and David knows this, like, I'm the same with protocols. Like, I'll find a protocol doing something completely random and different with the tokenomics, and I'm completely intrigued with it, and I just dive in and try to understand it. So I haven't dived in yet with this one, David, but at a quick glance, I did find it quite amusing, but in the right way. Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a gamification component I really want to explore and deep dive and understand how it works. So that was cool. And then the Mirai DAO component, because we've heard them start to talk about this a lot. So if you wanted to know what they're going to do and the phases each phase, what they're going to launch through it, definitely something for you to look through. So yeah, I've been very vague, but there's just so much information.
Yeah, there is. It's a robust piece, and it will explain it all and lay it all out for you. I don't know if it's our job to completely do that right here, or if we just want to tell people to go and read. Where can they find this white paper, Fez?
I just went to, like I said, I got it off the bulletin. I'm assuming the Studio Mirai site should have it, but honestly, I just went to the Icon Discord announcement bulletin, and it was one of the latest ones with the link there. So
you're actually hovering over one of my favorite parts, the Mirai Mart, where the basically merch, but it's not merch. It's streetwear, or what's it called? Lifestyle brand.
But clothes, right? You wear?
Yeah. But not like, your Fruit of the Loom white tee with a logo stickered on the top, but nicer fit, quality material apparel with stitched logos in weird places. That's how I would describe streetwear, I suppose, and I love it. So I'm looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah.
So that's the Mirai Mart. Also Studio Mirai is definitely, I think it's the highest, I want to say highest valued NFT project, but it depends on how you put it. Not in terms of trading volume, I'd say that's gangsta bet, but in terms of individual sales, the Tamashi Go, their floor price is a couple of thousand ICX, and the highest one went for 20,000 ICX back when ICX was 50 cents, 60.
I thought
So
it was
they
like
have-
close. That happened when it was close to $3. So
Well, look, it's the most valuable NFTs in the Icon ecosystem, and this is like what's next for that. And I think the highlight here as well is that that initial collection was 100 NFTs. Tough to get, like the competition brutal. Like everyone has war stories on how they tried to get their hands on a Tamashi, and that did create a very tight-knit community. And I think in the next phases, the next collections that are going to allow people to enter the community, it's going to be 3333, so 3,333 Mashin NFTs. So obviously it's going to be easier to get your hands on one of these, and you can already get whitelisted for this collection by participating in Discord and engaging, which is something that, you know, everyone who wants to get in will have already done or will start doing now. So there's like 0 to no chance of missing out on this. So you can get in now. So yeah, a lot to read here, a lot of mechanics in play. But at the end of the day, I would think it starts with getting your hands on one of those Mashin NFTs and, you know, entering the Discord and hanging out there. I'm going to get one because I get one of everything that launches in the Icon ecosystem.
Well, yeah, look, I believe, I think I've won 2 now. Although Katara, I don't know, this is what I've been told. I recall I won 1, and I recall there was another one. The Tribe, the Band-Aid. Remember we did the Band-Aid? That gave us 1, and before that I won 1 as well. So, and of course I'll buy one, as is tradition, to buy everything in the Icon ecosystem.
You reminded me that I won one. Yeah. And then, you know how I won the big Icon summer quiz on knowledge about Icon and Icon's ecosystem? Yeah. That gave me a free mint as well.
Damn, there you go.
So it pays to learn, doesn't it?
Totally. David's good. Even in the Monks create NFTs, it's just David's name everywhere. He's in the running for everything. I love it. We'll talk afterwards about splitsies.
We will. Let's talk about something I know less about. Karma Finance.
Okay, well, if you took part, so they've airdropped, they've sent the bKarma token. If you took part in a bond, which they had Void or the Omm Finance, and you were successful in taking part, and when I say you were successful, I tried, but I kept missing out because, you know, there was a daily allocation, and if it sold out, then you waited for refresh, and I was traveling, so I got in a couple of times. But the bKarma is the token for the protocol. I know you probably want a bit of it's a reserve currency. It's quite cool the way this reserve currency works. It's like the OHM forks that the DeFi 2.0 during the bull run, and a lot of them obviously crashed and burnt. But OHM hasn't. Olympus still exists. Karma Finance took a reverse role in this, where it created its bonds component first, and is strictly doing that from a protocol owned liquidity perspective, and it's not about the Karma token. The Karma token will come, so the bKarma is kind of like a reservation of the actual Karma token that will launch. And essentially the Karma token, its goal is that it'll always be backed by $1. So whatever's in rotation out there, essentially, it will always have a redeem value of $1, and it's backed by essentially all the fees and stuff the protocol gets via these bonds. So, you know, stable coins, LPs, tokens. I was always excited about this. I actually wanted to show this as well. So I do see Robbie making extensive efforts to keep everyone updated on how this protocol is going, more so than any other DeFi protocol I've noticed. And I feel the reason for this, David, is it is relatively unknown in our ecosystem, and the advantages versus the impacts it can initially have. For example, when it's offering bonds, the goal is it's offering you at a discount and invest over 5 days. So the Omm token, you know, you're getting it cheap. And the goal there is, if you want to capitalize on your profits, when it vests, you're going to sell your stash, and yeah, you rinse and repeat essentially, and that's how you're kind of making bang for buck. But in doing that, you're causing a constant sell pressure on the token, right? So there was fears that people could panic, or it's not actually good for the protocol and things like that. But I think it's very important to note that this is only this is a very short-term thing, because what's actually happening is you're selling, and they're giving you a bit more at a discount that vests over time, but that what you've sold is the protocol taking that liquidity, those tokens back, that LP, the actual LP, the money in the pool that you trade against, is being taken back by Omm Finance, which means that over a period of time, so now if you start looking 1 year, 2 years, instead of me and David being Omm whales and providing liquidity, and all of a sudden, we're going into a bit of a bull run and things are starting to go our way, me and David then go and pull out our millions of dollars worth of Omm from the liquidity pools to sell them. And what starts happening is the Omm token price suffers in the bull run, because the liquidity has now severely reduced, because all the users have the ability to pull out their liquidity. Versus by issuing bonds and the protocol owning its liquidity, even in a bull run, the protocol owns it. The protocol is not going to sell it, remove the liquidity and sell it to itself. No, that the goal is to keep the liquidity there, so that that price hardens, so it can take those sells or reverse. So that's the overall basis of this. And I know I've kept going on, but this is really good that Robbie's given a bit of a breakdown, and you can see he's given a detailed view, although the bonders weren't that many, but where people were bonding and what they were bonding to. And he's proposed again to do a next round with a lot more, which I completely support, advocate, and agree. Short-term pains, long-term gains, especially with Omm, given its emission rate is so high. If for short-term the protocol can capture back that emission in the form of protocol on liquidity, it's setting itself up for the future. So yeah, does that make sense, or have I rambled too much, David?
No, it makes sense, and I think it boils down to renting versus owning of the liquidity. It's like a very common way to simply describe it, because the pains that you just mentioned, or the downsides that people mention with this Karma implementation, those things are already happening right now. Like people are receiving Omm tokens for providing liquidity, and they're selling them off.
Exactly.
So that's already happening. The only thing that changes with Karma DAO is that instead of people providing liquidity and then you're at their mercy because they can pull the liquidity whenever they want, you've already given them the Omm tokens, they can pull when they want. Instead of that, you're purchasing the liquidity with the same Omm tokens. So you still lose your Omm tokens and they still get sold off, but this time round, your pockets are full of liquidity. So that's the big difference here. So all for it. And you can see that all these other projects in the Icon ecosystem, they're happy with the arrival of Karma, because they now have an opportunity, they have an infrastructure to pursue, protocol owned liquidity. And it's interesting to see that it's not just the DeFi platforms, but also the NFT platforms that are interested in these tokenomic systems enabled by Karma. So I think it's a very important fundament. It looks great too. And I think, any announcement that has the word airdrop in it gets me really excited and pumped. So
airdrop on Icon, I think, because at the moment, Twitter's all the rage with airdrops everywhere. Like, in fact, when Elon Musk came in power, day one, for 6 hours, all the airdrop tags and stuff stopped, and I could not believe it. I even ran and told my wife, I'm like, can you believe this? This guy is amazing. And I saw people actually, putting out tweets and stuff going MetaMask support, and nothing. It was dead air. But then the next morning I woke up and it was like everything got reactivated again. But yes, so David, just to clarify there, like one thing that now I recall the process was, in Omm, what you're doing is you're adding liquidity, and then you're selling the liquidity pair, the LP, instead of staking it on Omm for Omm rewards. You're going to Karma Finance, and you're saying, here's $100 off my LP, and Karma Finance, based on how much it has sold, will go, you will get this much Omm back for this, for the $100 worth of Omm at a discounted rate of 3%, given because they've sold a bit. Let's say it could be up 5, it could be 10, whatever you get in, and it will vest. So every day you go, you won't be able to claim the whole amount, but you'll be able to claim a portion of it or wait the 5 days. But essentially, you've got it at a discount. So this is where, sorry, I got confused in my explanation earlier, but that's what's essentially happening. So you as a user will actually end up with more Omm for you to then, if the rate has, the price has not been affected, you could go and sell for profit and repeat the process. But yeah, so
or you could be happy that your protocol that you support doesn't have to be Omm. Any protocol that implements this karma mechanism, you could be excited that they're doing this because it's going to make them healthier.
Yeah.
So it's going to make them more valuable. So you participate, you get more bang for your buck because you're getting more of that protocol's platform token, and then you don't sell. It's a way for supporters to get more of a platform token that they believe in, and while they do so, it's in harmony because they're
exactly
supporting that platform to get stronger. So if you multiply that effect by 100,000 users, you can imagine that everyone kind of wins. Obviously, there's more factors at play, but the whole it's named appropriately too. It's karma. It's good karma.
And no, Karma Finance don't sponsor the podcast. Did you know that, David? They don't. We actually feel dispassionately about the protocol.
We feel passionately about every protocol.
So much passion.
We're a passionate bunch of dudes talking about tokens in flotation.
Not financial advice. Okay, anything else on this front, David?
No, we can move on.
Cool. Okay, next up. Okay, so we've covered boosted balance, right? It is live, the first stage of it. You can unstake, there's no unstaking period, and then you can restake and pick your nominated timeframes. The longer you stake, 4 years, the bigger boost. Is there anything, David, we haven't touched on that you wanted to highlight as part of this?
It's live, so you can now, if you have balanced in staking, you get prompted. If you log in to Balanced, you get prompted to unlock it from the old contract or the old system, and you can then restake it and pick up a lockup period. It's live now. It's working. You can do so. You can pick lockup periods from 1 week to 4 years, I believe, and it will add a multiplier to any liquidity pool that you're supplying in that is incentivized by Balanced, and they do a good job in showing you which pools those are. And yeah, as per usual, the interface, it's very intuitive. It's hard to make mistakes here, and there's nothing else to add to it, I suppose.
No. Look, my only thing I will add is I will say, actually people go and try. Maybe don't even lock. I believe I was able to just adjust and instantly see the rates shift. I genuinely, so one of the things, and I before the show, like, David, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but as David was talking, I realized, like, some of the commentary I've seen, like, people, the boosted model probably brought some expectations. Oh, we should see once stuff's getting locked up, the price go up, etc. I think when you go and start seeing the LP pools and just how much fees and stuff, you realize that in the bear markets, the protocols aren't being used as much. And to just get new traffic in a bear market is quite difficult. Heck, on YouTube, David, like on my channel, I'd release a video and get 1,000 views in 24 hours. Now I'm struggling to get even 100. Like, so it's just what happens across the entire crypto space in all mediums. So the protocols are no different. And I worry that, are people not realizing, like, when I tweak and I play with these things, I get super excited. And it's not just for Balanced Omm, in other protocols as well, because when I see the tokenomics, how much they've evolved. So if I zoom back into Balanced and Omm, like, the boosted model just puts a complete different dynamic into it. And the fact that you can target an LP, like, for example, we could create our own something paired with BNUSD and be some super whale of balance and then vote. And you could literally do this, but it won't because people will be smarter. But I would have to buy up literally everything, and then I could push all the emissions to our pair and reap the rewards of amazing liquidity. But you can see any one person doesn't have that much money to do it. But these are prospects, and once that starts, it'll have a and network fees is impacted. Like something I didn't realize. Like I noticed when I was trying to go degen 4 years, it was impacting my total share of network fees. So once we start getting user activity back. And I would come back to the original users who probably have gotten burnt by balance a little bit due to rebalancing and stuff. A lot of that's changed, people. Spread the word. What's it? Teach one? Slap one, teach one? No, there's another saying. But get in there, try it out. People who've been burnt, get them to come back in it. Rebalancing is there, but it just doesn't happen because of the stability fund. So you can actually mint, you can use Bitcoin now to mint, and with balance you can redirect rewards. Some of those pools, David, I don't know if you saw, one of the pools I saw was paying 20% APR, a stable coin swap pool. 20% APR in there, okay? So solid rates to be had with the boosted model. Definitely one to check out.
Cool.
Sorry, David. I told you I wouldn't preach on that one. Okay, next up. So I didn't even know this was a thing. David, you brought it to my attention. I didn't realize that they created some kind of Halloween promotion on the map. What is it, David? I don't know what's going on. What am I looking at?
This is a 3-day Halloween event by the Gangsterbet team, and they've allowed us back in to Emerald City. Again, we get a map overview as we're seeing on the screen right now. And I think the goal is to find pumpkins. They're dead spooky. They're all over the place, and I haven't actually participated, haven't found the time to do so. But
how do you find these pumpkins? Do I just start clicking at stuff? Oh, there's a pumpkin.
You start off by going to map.emeraldcity.xyz. Yeah. You'll see the Emerald City. Be sure to leave your sound on because it's immersive. And you're supposed to look for pumpkins, and then in the small text, if you click one, there's a bit of social engagement that you can participate in, and I'm unsure as to what you can win. And I think by the time people are gonna hear this podcast, this Halloween event is actually going to be over. But what I thought was cool is that just again, like I love doing this with Gangsterbet, just realizing where we're at with them, and I guess we're close to getting something playable and seeing it all work, but now that they can do like 3-day Halloween events in their city, with this kind of interfaces and little gaming elements, like it's like this is happening and it's looking promising and great. I don't know if Project Nebula has also hidden some pumpkins in space, or if they're waiting for Christmas to, have a floating Santa somewhere around. But it's fun to see these game projects, these dApps on Icon.
Well, this one is, can you do a backflip? And it wants us to film ourselves doing a backflip at your own risk. David, can you do a backflip?
I can actually on a trampoline, yeah.
Smart. That there you go. David's just giving you the cheat code to win this. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I didn't even realize. Like I saw some tweets. I didn't click on it. I say snub Halloween, but this is pretty cool. Pretty cool way to get involved and interact in the city. But yeah, awesome. Looking forward to it actually launching. You can see a lot of my real estate here. I think I bought up this neighborhood as well. So
yeah,
and
you own a block.
The airport's mine as well. So there'll be a Fez tax. I don't think they've announced that yet, but there you go, exclusive.
Is it a sustainable airport, Fez?
No. You just 100% tax. You're broke. You can't leave after that. Tax all your money. Okay. I think that's good. We'll have this out.
Us to the end, doesn't it?
This is it. Yeah. I think not financial advice as usual. Two guys who love the ecosystem trying to bring the latest and greatest news. That's it.
I think we can end with our famous disclaimer. You do it best.
I thought I just did. Not financial advice, or no. So again, triple not financial advice. One other thing, we should change it up at the end of every episode. If you like the content, please like, share, subscribe, and throw some votes our way on the node. You know, that is fundamentally showing that you really, appreciate the time over the years, not years, and that's the way of showing it. And rest assured, everyone, we will be updating some of the use cases around what the Iron Icon node exists for. And there's one promise: we will make the node, and it's anything the node makes is not for us. It's a community podcast. It's a community node. We're working through plans at the moment of how the node can best help. Everything Iron Icon does and its node does can actually help the ecosystem. And I mean more than processing blocks. It's anything that once we hit the top 21 and on top is the model, the plan, everything we're drafting up at the moment is all around enabling teams, projects, builders on Icon. So, and of course, rewarding our voters in a way, shape and form. So I wanted to talk about it this episode, but David, wise one, who should be a monk because he is so wise, cautioned me that let's have a few things mapped up so that we can speak with more confidence and not just give empty promises. So good advice, David. Very wise.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool.
You're welcome. Thanks everyone for listening, and see you next week.
That's AKA Shut Up Fez. End the show. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.